slang lace.
If you could build the ultimate MC using abilities from other MCs, what abilities would they be and from what MCs?
To me, to build the ultimate MC, I would first take Biggie's voice and flow. Notorious Big's voice and flow. His voice is, and the way he rides over beats is like, to me, the greatest. I would take Nas's poetic style of writing and the way he creates imagery with his writing. Like when he says, once they caught us off guard, the MAC-10 was in the grass and I ran like a cheetah with thoughts of an assassin. Picked the Mac up, told brothers back up, the Mac spit. Lead was hitting niggas, one ran, I made him backflip. Like, all that stuff is like stuff you can visualize. So I think his writing abilities, I would take Nas's writing abilities. I would take Tupac's influence as far as like, I don't know if that's but that passion is something that I would put in the MC to make it like that passion. So when he's writing those emotional songs, it would come through like that passion and that consciousness that Tupac could actually bring. I would take Kanye's sensibility as far as writing songs that can appeal to multiple. Like one of the first things that shocked me about Kanye was I saw him at SOBs in New York right before the College Dropout came out, and there was people there with backpacks, and there was people there throwing up the rock sign with chains on, and I was like, man, he bringing together both worlds. So I would take his sensibility and song-making skills as far as, you know, like how to bring together both worlds. And then I would take Dre 3000's like unique flow, like so that the MC could go to wherever place he wants to go to and just go in that space. And I guess last would be like KRS-One's performing presence. Like, cause him on stage, I used to see KRS-One without, it just be him and SB 1200 and he rock a crowd like nobody I seen in hip hop. So it's like, yeah, I would take, that would be my ultimate MC.
It'd be a hard MC to battle.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
How do you see the current state of hip hop? Do you feel like storytelling is making a comeback?
I think the current state of hip hop is in a wonderful place. It's like the music is starting to be as diverse as it once was, where you do have artists from Kendrick Lamar to Chance the Rapper to Little Bibby or Lil Herb. All those artists kind of offer what they are. Like you feel like a certain sincerity in what they're talking about, like they experience it. But at the same token, you have like a Kendrick who can write a story, or I like Jay Electronica, I like, you know, all those guys, like they got their own voice. Hip hop was its strongest when each person had their voice, whether it was Slick Rick, Big Daddy Kane, the Beastie Boys, you know, and Rakim, NWA. And now we can have that, like in some of the present day artists that say, hey, this is what it's about, this is what I bring to the table. That individuality and own voice is important, and I think, you know, we're getting that in hip hop today, so I see hip hop is in a great place.
One of the things that, the topics that seem to be coming around these days is, can hip hop be inclusive of all races and still keep its essence? Oh,
for sure, hip hop can definitely be inclusive of all races and keep its essence. Hip hop is like, it's truly at its core about expression. It started in the inner cities, in the hoods, and it is rooted in the hoods, but it still has been able to spread out and grow. It's still, you could think about some of the earlier groups, like, and everybody wasn't just a hood guy, you know? And even if they came from the hood, what they presented wasn't like when I referenced Slick Rick, you know, none of us knew that he was from London. And he came and he was, you know, ended up being a street guy, but he was presenting these stories like, yo, you know, and it was fun. He had his chains and he was the royal guy. And then you had the Beastie Boys who were from Brooklyn, you know, and they were influenced by hip hop, rock music, and were able to bring that to the table. So I think hip hop is about the bridge. It is the bridge. It's the thing that does allow all cultures and nationalities to be included. I think one of the biggest joys I've had was like looking out in the crowd and seeing white people listening, rocking, like Latino people, like Asian people, like shoot, I mean, when you go to certain areas, it's Native Americans, they're like rocking. Black people, you know, it's like, I was like, man, it's been the culture that has allowed a lot of people to come from different walks of life and celebrate it. And you know, that's why you can have a kid that's from the suburbs love, you know, Chief Keef, or, you know, like that's just what it is. That they like, man, I'm getting, but then at the same token, you know, you could have a kid like Childish Gambino reaching into areas that may be in the hood, you know, so it's like, it's a bridge to me, and I think that we can definitely have, you know, you can have multiple nationalities enjoying it, and it can still stay true to the art and the culture of what it is.
What artists are you listening to these days? I
like Electronica. As far as hip hop goes, I like Electronica. I like Kendrick Lamar. I like Absol. I like Dreezy. I like Chance. I like Lil Herb. I like Bibby. Those are some of the main ones that come. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm naming new artists, but I still can go to almost any Kanye album and listen to that. I still listen to Nas. Outkast. I mean, I still look for a Dre verse everywhere, you know, whenever it comes up. So, I mean, I don't like exclude the artists that have come from early on, because they come with real quality stuff still, and that's the hip hop I've been listening to.
What about outside of hip hop?
Outside of hip hop, man, honestly, I've been ranging from jazz to gospel music, which I honestly only used to listen to gospel music in church. But now it's like, I've been listening to like this artist named William Murphy, who is a gospel artist. He's really good. I always go to John Coltrane. I like Disclosure. I like them. I still like Flying Lotus. And I'm a big fan of Radiohead, but you know, Kid A and that stuff was like, you know, OK Computer, and like that stuff was cold to me. So, I mean, that's what I still can always go listen to that.
Lastly, any advice for young artists?
My advice, you know, to be honest, is to be able to find your voice, like find who you are in music, in life, in your creativity, and what you want to stand for. Like, because that is what you will not only get you a chance to be heard, but that is what will sustain you. If you stand for something, like if you look at that in any aspect of life, whether it's the civil rights movement, where, you know, Dr. King and the SCLC stood for what they stood for. Well, let's go to artists. And, you know, artists that have existed. Bob Marley stood for what he stood for, and ended up being some of the most influential music in the world. Young artists, once you find your voice, then you start expressing that and just surrounding yourself with people that share that same vision. And when that vision is there, hopefully those people sharpen you, you sharpen them, and the truth rises to the top. To be honest, you got to stick with what you know and believe in, and it will be ebb and flow. It'll be up valleys and peaks, and you just endure that because you standing for what you believe in.